everybody to live from the Teachers Lounge in Brooks. Tonight, we got Mr. Tim Clifton, and his band playing some nice music for us. So just kick back and relax. We'll be starting in a minute. The podcast will be airing at 7 o'clock. So just kick back, vibe out for a minute. We'll be back to start the podcast in a minute, man. Just enjoy the music.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please allow me to introduce ourselves. We got Sticky on our lead guitar. Listen, when your heart's broken, when you wounded pride stays to rest, it never belongs to anyone else to say. To lie, you know you're lying, baby. So your mind might be made up. Yeah, too hard. It's not his own way. There's no one to blame, cause of that. But there lies, you try to hide. I'm feeling the pain. I really don't wanna feel. But girl, there's nowhere to hide, baby. But love is calling your name from the dark, baby. Nowhere to run to, girl. There's nowhere to hide. Yeah, so let me know. This way, girl, in your heart, baby. When love calls your name, so my lips, and I wish that you were still here. Take me away with your kiss. Take me away from all this crazy. Now tell me the words have been spoken. Oh no, and too many lies have been told, baby. Yeah, you never do it again. Tell yourself over and over and over. It's wrong. You're wrong, baby. There's no lie, girl. When love is calling your name, you fall apart, baby. Nowhere to run to, there's nowhere to hide, baby. Let love have its way in your heart, baby. When love comes, quick breaking my heart, breaking my heart. You quick breaking my heart. You breaking my heart. Love calls your name. Love's calling your name. Yeah. Look, it's calling out for you. It's calling out for me, baby. Love's on its way, baby. Hey, Mr. Sticky, y'all, come on, sing it. We ready?
Nah, you might gonna catch everything. I got these.
All right, good evening, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to Live from the Teacher's Lounge with Mr. Brooks. I am your host, Mr. Brooks. I also want to give out some special acknowledgments. I want to thank Dorothy's Bar and Grill for allowing me to shoot my podcast here tonight. I also want to give a shout out to Chino Grimes Films for shooting this production today. I want to give a shout out to Tim Clifton and his band for providing the music for us today. I want to give a shout out to Magic 102.5 for advertising for me today. I also want to give a shout out to Cuts and Curls at Stadium Shopping Centers for my grooming, having me looking sharp and fly. I also want to give a shout out to my daughter, Cadence Pruners, for making my t-shirts and providing the shirts that's going to be in the gift bags for my guests. Tonight we're going to be talking about the theme, data. Data is a common term that's used in education. We're going to talk about the different categories. What is the data tracking? The different categories of the data. Different categories of the data that things are going to be tracked. For example, the standardized test. In Texas, we use the STAR test. Another category that's being tracked is attendance. Also, another thing that's being tracked is the behavior of the students, their suspensions. The curriculum that's being data that's being tracked is math and reading, how your students perform in math and reading. We're also going to talk about the impact that that has on the students, the individual schools, and the school district, also the community as a whole. Now, we're going to start off by meeting our panelists. Starting from my right, we have Mr. Thomas Segee. He's our school board president. We have Ms. Shauna Fortno. She's a truancy officer. We have Dr. Lori Threets. I apologize. We have Dr. Lori Threets. She's the principal of a career and technical school. We have Mr. Prentice Simeon. He's the owner of Crackling Kings. He's also a coach. He's a mentor and a community leader. We also have Mr. Harlan Abels. A lot of people call him Coach Mo. He's the owner of 409 Elite Boxing Club. We also have my brother, Mr. Raymond Lewis. He's the owner of the Men of Better Life podcast, and also he's an author. We have Mr. Brooks. He's also a math teacher here in Beaumont, Texas. Now, we're going to get into the meat of this. We're going to start with Mr. Segee. He's going to tell us a little bit about his inspiration and his motivation about. We're going to start off with Mr. Segee. He's going to tell us a little bit about his inspiration and his motivation behind him being the board president and his mission and his goal for what he want to accomplish in that position.
I've always been a volunteer throughout the city of Beaumont all my life. always been trying to give back to the community itself. But in 2017, the state of Texas, it had taken over BISD as a school district. And in 2017, they actually was turning the district back over to the community. And I ran and got elected as a school board member. And I went to some training. The training was put on by the state of Texas. The trainer itself was a guy named A.J. Crabtree. And didn't learn a whole bunch from him, but there was one thing that he said that got caught up in my mind. And he said that the student outcomes will change when adult behaviors change. And that meant a lot to me, and I carried that from that point on. But the bigger question that he asked me was, Mr. Segee, what were you doing when BISD was coming apart at the seams? I'm like, what do you mean? Because I was in the military, I was in and out of the military. He said, no, I'm asking you personally, what were you doing when the district fell apart at the seams? I act like I didn't understand the question. But I did. And the fact of the matter is I wasn't doing a whole lot. Because the district needed my intervention. It needed your intervention. It needed the community's intervention into what was going on in BISD. In other words, it takes you, the community, not just Dr. Threes, not just Ms. Funtno, not just Mr. Simmons, not just you. It takes all of us in order to make BISD better. It takes everyone in this particular room right now to make BISD better. We can go home at night and say we're not involved with the district, but you are. You're involved. We all have a stake into BISD's success or its failure. We all have a part to play. And until we all put our intervention into it, the district is not going to be very successful. It's on us. And my little philosophy in life is it's meant to be, it's up to me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have to be involved. My children are grown. My youngest child is 32. I don't have a kid in the district. But my stake in it is high. It's very high. I'm a community guy. I graduated from BIS. I've served all over this world. I've been in 80 different countries. I served 32 years in the military. I have a stake in Beaumont, Texas. I have a stake in BISD. My kids all graduated from public school. They're doing well. I come from a culture where my mom was involved. I was involved with my kids' education. We can't say that it's only the parents that need to be involved because the Texas Constitution doesn't mention parents anywhere. It said that the students have a right to a public education. It does not say that the parents need to be involved, even though they should. They have to be, but we have them for 7-8 hours a day. We have to make good on what the Constitution of the state of Texas tells us we have to do. Plain and simple. But that's why I'm so involved.
Thank you. The key is accountability. We all have to be accountable for our actions. Yes. Some of us have students. Some of us have children that are going to school. Some of us don't. But we all live in this community, so we have to be accountable.
Yes, sir.
So how can you point the finger at this person and say it's this person's fault, or it's the school district's fault, or it's the individual teacher's fault, when you're not being accountable for the role you're playing?
But Mr. Brooks, that's the easy thing to do.
Exactly.
It's easy to point the finger and say that teacher so-and-so is not doing their job. That's easy. Let me tell you, when I was a kid, the worst thing I could do was come home and say I didn't have homework. My mom would say, okay, no problem. Go up there and get the dictionary. Now you're going to pick out 10 words or 20 words. You're going to define them, and you're going to write a sentence about them. It was just easy for me to bring home my homework. That was easy. Because my mom was going to make me do triple what I should have done. We need more parent engagement, but we have to have engagement at the schoolhouse, and our community has to pick up the slack for our children.
Yes, sir. that's where accountability comes into play. First, yes, we have a school district, we have a school board, we have government officials, we have elected officials. But everything starts in your house.
Yes.
With your house, with your children. They go to school based off the zone. So if a school zone your kid there, that means the school is already have in place transportation. They've already budgeted for feeding your kid and making sure they have enough room for your kid to go to that school. So, like I said, in the beginning, we're going to talk about the data. And the data that's being tracked, one of those data is attendance. We have the truancy officer, Ms. Shauna Funno. Can you please talk to us about some of the challenges you're facing with the accountability that Mr. Segui spoke on with the attendance?
Okay, with the attendance, parents don't want to take accountability for their students being absent. First of all, what I've come to find out, my own personal experience is, we have a breakdown in the family. If you have to call the truancy officer, you wouldn't imagine how many calls I get as a truancy officer going visit homes. My child won't get out of bed. And then I have to go to your house, or I have to go to the student's house to get that child out of bed. I cannot go physically put my hands on the child. What I have to do is come to the door. I have to go to the door, and the child has to come to the door, and I'm talking to the child, and I have to follow the parent to the school with the child in their car. And what if the parent doesn't have a car? So why does it have to be that I have to come to your house to get your child out of bed, and you can't do that, and you live with the child more than I do, or you see the child more than I do? I'm a stranger to the child, but I do what I have to do. But what I found to be a factor is that for the children, for example, if I go to your house and you're in your pajamas and you're talking to me, and that's how your child see you when they left home, and then they come back from school and they see you the same way. The bills get paid. Daddy and Mama was in those clothes when I left, so they feel like it's okay. So I don't have to go to school. If I left Mama and Daddy like this, and I come back home and it's like this, our life still on, so I don't have to go to school. That's a breakdown. That's accountability. That's a family thing. That has nothing to do with the school. That's a family thing. That's what we need to do as a family as a whole. So what I do when I go to the house, I try to mend that family. I try to mend that family. Then I try to mend that parent with the school district. Then I try to make a full circle. So if I make a full circle, then we can get that attendance up. We can't talk about attendance if we can't mend the problem that's in the family. We have to mend the problem that's in the family. And it takes a community. It's not going to just be me. It's not going to be just the student or the principal. It's going to be you, parents. You got to get involved. You got to get involved. I'm not only the truancy officer, but I also am a reader, volunteer reader for the students, elementary all the way up. And I hold small groups for disadvantaged kids, kids that's being bullied or anything. I go to the schools and I volunteer that. I have to make a rapport with the kids. That's my job, to get a rapport with the kids and the parents. Because if we don't have a rapport, we're gonna lose more kids than what we're losing now. And if you notice that a kid can't miss 15 days and expect to pass the grade, they're missing instructional time. Each day they miss, they're missing instructional time. And instructional time is very important to the kid. It's very important. I always tell the parent when I go talk to the parent, the first teacher is at home. What they're going to at the school is a substitute teacher, so to speak, because the first teaching started at home. I know Mrs. Segui probably just said that, but the first teacher it starts at home. And that's right. It's a harsh reality, but it's true. We had COVID. There was your great opportunity, parents, to teach. Now, if you failed teaching when we had COVID, sorry about that. But now, it's the real deal here. You can't expect the kids to know everything just by learning what they hear at school. You have to bring that kid home and teach them more things. You have to do that. And if you need help doing that, We're always open. You can always call the district for assistance. You can always call the district. I work out of the students. My office is out of student services and administration. We're always open. We're like the information center for the school district. You call there, you can get anybody's number, or you can we can direct you on where to go. But attendance is our thing. The kid has to be present in the seat to learn. They have to be present in that seat to be counted, to be counted for. It's not all about money. It's about your kids' education. It's about your kids' education, because education is the foundation for the rest of their life. Thank you.
And when you think about it, attendance does drive the financial train. That's how the district gets paid, is by the students' attendance. And if a student misses so many days, they're not eligible to move to the next grade.
Right. Now, I have another thing. How does it affect them when they're skipping school? When they're actually at school, parents thinking, I know my kid went to school today, but when they skip in individual classes, how does that affect
At the school house.
at the school
Right.
house? Because as a teacher myself, that's a very bad thing. And if kids have 8 subjects or 8 different teachers' classes they got to go to, that's 8 different absences for that one day if they skip school.
I kind of wanted to add on to what both of them had said, as far as like just attending school and then going home and not having homework, and that's not enough. I went to Prairie View A&M University as a college student. I kind of had to learn very quickly that a lot of the outcome that I have will be determined off what I do at home. Because as a college student, it's like, all right, let's take it back a little bit. So as far as middle schoolers, I teach 8th grade middle school math. I have heard from a couple of parents, like, they don't understand why the kid is at school for 8 hours, but I'm sending them home with 2 pages of homework or 2 pages of homework. My understanding is, like, the main thing we have to understand is that we have to kind of collect all of our resources, put them in a tool bag, and to be able to reflect on them when they need it. So, like, just going to school and going home and not having homework is not enough, because now the problem I had to kind of understand, because I went to Central High School. It was very, that was all day. But it was real easy. It was real easy to get a diploma from Central High School. You just had to show up, be an average student, you walk in the stage, almost top of the class. It was too easy. But then I went to PV. Now I'm competing academically with kids from everywhere. You even got foreign exchange kids from Africa, from Germany. And these kids are already understanding of how you got to go home and put in hours. So the main thing is just kind of using the brain as a muscle and training it to allow you to learn what you don't want to learn. So when you do find something interesting, you all in. That's all I kind of want to add to what they had both said.
I'm glad what you just said there, man, because we have a foreign exchange program where teachers come from different countries and teach here. And one of the teachers that, when I was behavior interventionist, because I was behavior interventionist prior to teaching, one of the teachers was having a lot of trouble managing her classroom. But she came from a country where she was teaching in an underground bunker, where it was an active war zone. She was able to manage teaching there, where kids hearing bombs and guns shooting while they're trying to learn. These kids were appreciative of the opportunity just to get an opportunity to learn. And here, she's crying every day because the kids are not appreciating the opportunity that they have just to go to school in a safe environment to learn. Where's the accountability? Why come our kids don't appreciate the basics? How do we change it? What's the solution? So academics is one thing, but we're talking about data here and we're talking about attendance. I feel like it's one of the simple fixes, because if you're accountable for your kid getting to school, it can be fixed.
Yes, sir.
The district is providing transportation. If you're honest about where you're living, even if you don't have transportation, they should have a bus to bring your kid to and from school. There's a budget for that. That's what zoning is for. So if you're accountable and taking care of your business the way you should be doing, attendance could be fixed.
Let me add something to that, Mr. Brooks. As far as the what you said about going to the zone school, you know, a lot of parents like to. I want to see my child over here because this is a better school. This is why I heard it's a better campus. It's not about the campus. It's about the student. Because the student can go to a school, campus next door to their home and pass, and they can go to one way across town and fail, and have a behavior problem across town. So it's not about the campus. It's about the student, how the student gain knowledge or wherever, because they can go to homeschool and do the same thing, fail, or go to homeschool and pass. So it's about the student. So if the student don't have it, the student just don't have it. So it's not about where you send your kid to the campus. So stop making that excuse for the kid, because if you cheating about sending your kid to this campus and using this address or whatever, think about what you're teaching your child. Stealing, cheating, and so when they get older as an adult, they gonna start lying, stealing, and cheating. You don't want that as an adult. You don't want that as an adult. So be truthful with what you're doing on the paperwork today, so tomorrow you won't suffer from that. Be truthful. And BISD makes it so easy for you. You can go to the website and register your child. BMTISD.com. Go register your child for school, because we need the registration here. Our schools are going to start closing down around us, and your child is going to have to be bused where you don't have a choice. So let's not have that happen. Go ahead and register your child today. It's not too late today. Let's do it. Let's get on it, parents. Let's get on it, community. So if you don't know that if you know a child that's not registered, hey, listen, let's go register this child. This child needs to be registered. This child needs to be in school, because if they not in school, they're gonna be at your house, neighbor,
Or in your neighborhood.
or in your neighborhood.
And the key thing that Funnel said is that they're not going to school on the first day. They're not registered.
Yes, sir.
Send them home. They have to be registered in order to attend school on the first day.
If they're not there on the first day, they start out behind. Trust me. You need those kids there. But we're gonna go into this next topic, which is behavior. The next, like she said, bad habits, lying, stealing, cheating. That's behavior. That's behavior. We're gonna get Dr. Threes to talk a little bit about behavior, because she's the principal at a career and technical school. What I want to ask you, Dr. Threes, do you think it affects the kids' behavior being exposed to the opportunity to the program that y'all offer at the career and technical school?
Oh, definitely. They know that in order to come to our school, our first name is Career Technical Education Center. So we are preparing you for a career. You can't go to a job, to an occupation, to a career and have bad behavior, or your services will no longer be needed. They'll go on to the next person. So that's one of the things that we emphasize. You have to come there career ready, meeting those expectations, because we expose them to industry professionals. You have to be ready to enter their profession if they come and ask for you that day. Therefore, when you come, we're training you every day. You have to have good behavior, 9th and 10th grade, because that's all part of the application process in order to be enrolled at CTEC, as we call it. If you don't have that, it's not just academically. We need a well-rounded student, because employers, that's what they're looking for. Are you on time? Can you detach from your devices? We're thankful that that's the law now. They're going to help them with that. But all of that goes into being a well-rounded, a productive employee. Because if you can't work on a job for 8, 10, 12 hours without checking your phone and doing all of that, then you're not getting the job done. And so we always try to emphasize that you have to be career ready. You have to meet those expectations. That's what our motto is, engaging in an expectation of excellence in all we do every day. And so that's definitely very important. It's not just about learning the skills, learning the trade, but are you going to be able to be a productive employee while you're on somebody's job?
If I can add to that topic, I think a lot of behavior comes from parent support. And what I mean by that is, like, for myself and and I was in like middle school, I would go to the Central football game, Central Virgo's game, one of the biggest games out here, and I would see the drum line. Now I was inspired to be on the field, marching on the drums. I told my mother I wanted to play drums, and she supported me like wholeheartedly. She went bought me a drum set, some sticks, a book, and I kind of just dove into it. So once I became a part of the organization on the drum line at Central High School, it made me a part of something that was greater and bigger than myself. So that motivated me because it's an extracurricular activity, which means now I have to abide by certain guidelines in order to be eligible. So a lot of days at school, it's like, if I can just make it through this period, I don't like this class, the kids, I just want to make it to 4 o'clock so I can get behind my drum, I can be in my own world. So it's like a lot of times to tie it back into what I said as far as parent support. As parents, I don't have any kids, so I can't really just say what parents should do. But as far as a child who had an upbringing from appropriate parents, I know that they gave me the opportunity to explore my talent, to find myself. You know, a lot of kids are lost; they don't know who they are, so they don't have an identity. So if I'm going to school, you telling me make good grades, listen to the teachers, da da da. Okay, it sounds easy, but when I'm mentally disrupted, I have nothing to focus on outside of just going home and get back in my bed and eating snacks and playing games. Now it's a crisis because I need some attention. You know, behavior comes from attention. They need attention. And a lot of times as a teacher, I pull students outside, and you wouldn't believe the amount of the toughest kids I had tear up based off of me guiding the conversation to open their mind to try to figure out what's the root of the problem.
Mr. Brooks, I'm glad you said about mental, because you know it goes with attendance as well. Because when a parent is if the parent has to transport that student to school, and that child has to endure a lot of screaming, howling, and cursing, or whatever, mental breakdown. You know? Yep. So parents, when you bring your child to school, try to have something common. I mean, try to have something calming for the student and build them up positive about something. Like you can do it, have a motivational speech or something that I used to do to my kids who are now adults and products also BISD. Do your best and nothing less. That's what I used to tell them. And we got that from Fail Elementary. They used to tell those kids, do your best and nothing less. So I started telling those kids, do your best and nothing less. Because the halfway won't do your best and nothing less, no matter who's not doing their best. So don't get those kids in the cars or before they leave home and all that stuff. Because that's a breakdown. Then they get into school, they get on campus and they be like, I better go home, and then they mad at their friend or whatever.
A lot of times teachers don't know how to respond to that, and that's also a problem. Like as far as myself, on day one, that's why day one is important. I tell all of my students,
that's at the time.
If you're not having a great day, please pull me to the side so I know how to handle you accordingly. So a lot of times teachers overwork, drained, burnt out. So that kind of creates an unsatisfied environment to where now the teacher is, because the student isn't answering the question or reading when we tell them to read, now they're bothered because they feel like it's disrupting their learning plans. But we have to learn how to communicate appropriately, as well as learning our students to where we can personalize each interaction.
And that's how it has to be. You have to have that rapport with the students to be able to do that. And you were speaking about the parents too. Sometimes parents, that's all they know how to do because that's how they were parents. And the students, they act in the way they've been trained. Parents parent the way they learned how to parent. So, but there's resources that can help them. We have a lot of resources. So if you don't know, if your parenting is not producing the results that you want, then we could connect you with people who can help you better your parenting skills so that your students can be better students and receive and be able to go and have a clear mind and be able to be educated. Because like you said, if they have come from listening to somebody tearing them down the night before, they're taking care of siblings and everything, they really are. They come to school to rest, to get away from that, because a lot of our students are having to be adults when they don't even have the mental capacity to process all the things that they're being exposed to.
So who should parents talk to get those resources?
They can talk to the counselors, they can talk to behavior interventionists, anybody at the school, if they just say, look, I'm doing the best that I know how to do, which I feel that a lot of parents, they are doing the best that they know how to do, and they just need some additional resources, some additional training to help them. Buckner's has a couple of different parenting programs that can help them, and that's one that I was just became familiar with, but I know there's a lot of others. The counselors have a plethora of resources that they can share with parents, share with students to help them go to classes, go
They
to
can do on
groups.
the PTA. But first of all, we need to clone this young man right here.
Yeah.
Make 100 of him, sign him to those schools.
Like what you're saying about the parents. A lot of the problem is what I'm getting from the kids. Mr. Brooks, you're the only adult that ever listened to me. And what's happening is it's like an epidemic. It's an unintentional neglect. That's what's happening today. It's definitely intentional neglect, where the parents are just absent and intentionally neglecting their kids. But what's really happening is the unintentional neglect, and that's what we're addressing. The kids, you don't know your kids. You're not communicating. You're not encouraging what they're interested in. You're not finding out what's going on in their day. It's just simple questions. How was your day? What did y'all learn?
But that doesn't happen anymore.
How
So,
are you feeling?
A lot of, like, you're a different student exposed to your generation, but a lot of our seasoned educators, they came from old school, the village mentality. Students just were trained how to go and respect adults, no matter what.
If
The
they
handle
cool.
is Miss, Mr., yes ma'am, no ma'am. Students are not being trained that way anymore. But then they're coming and approaching, adults who are expecting that. And so I tell my staff, we have to train them on how to act, how they're supposed to handle themselves, because sometimes they just don't know. They interact with their other adults in any kind of way that we know is not appropriate, but they don't know because nobody has told them that the language you use with your peers should not be observed by adults. They don't know that because the other adults in their lives, it's okay. They can engage in certain behaviors, certain activities with those adults, and so they think it's okay to do it with the same adults at school. They don't look at it as being disrespectful. But we're receiving it as disrespectful, but they don't know. But once you take them to the side and let them know, okay, that's not appropriate. You shouldn't be doing that here. It's like a light bulb. They really just had no idea. So it's establishing that rapport, making those relationships so that everybody will be on the same page, because initially everybody is not on the same page in that.
And it goes back to the accountability to the adults in this situation. Realizing that these kids are different. They didn't get the same thing that we have in our pool. And yes, they may be disrespectful. They might cuss you out. They might be rude to you. But you're the one responsible for being calm in that situation. You're the one that got the life experience in that situation. You're the one that can control that situation and control the outcome in that situation. By being patient, being calm, allowing that situation to calm down and don't react. You
Don't initially take it as being disrespectful.
Exactly. You got to get to the root of the issue.
And don't take it as just because this child is always acting out, this child is gonna always be the one getting in trouble. Sometimes the bully is the person that's not acting out, that's speaking with the other person. Sometimes it's the A on the wrong person that's being the bully to the person that's always gonna get in trouble. So if I get Miss Threets and she's the A on the roll student and she points at me, well, she hit me and she points at me, well, because I'm always getting in trouble, the teacher gonna automatically leave it. Don't automatically leave it. Listen at the story. Listen at my story. Listen at my side of the story. Because I'm not always in trouble. She did it this time.
Another thing, and I'm glad y'all said that. Programs like my success class, which is every morning, my first period success class, my homeroom class, it's a mentoring program where I have all the at-risk kids in my class. And what I do is I get people like these young fellas to my left to come and mentor and talk with them and provide resources for the kids that don't necessarily have that structure in their life, that discipline. And these guys take their time out to give that kind of guidance and mentorship to those people. So I want to introduce you to Mr. Prentice Simeon. He's also a local entrepreneur. And when he come talk to my kids, he talk to them about what it takes to be a business owner, what it takes to be the best version of yourself. So I'm gonna let him break down a little bit of the things that he's been able to bring as an educator, as a coach, as a mentor to the kids in our community.
All right, first thing I want to say is, Eric, congratulations on your podcast. It's great. This is the time to like, share, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? So you can get more information. You get more information out. If you like this, then you can like it and share it and send it to everybody who you think that's in need. So that's the first thing that I want to say as far as that, man. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you, bro.
I'm happy to be here to support you. The first thing I want to talk about is I want to give love to the teachers. I taught, yes, because we in the trenches. I taught chemistry, biology, physics, environmental science. I taught those subjects for 13 years. I worked at Paul Brown where we had the kids that really needed mentorship and help. I worked at Campus Finette. I worked in Dallas, multiple schools. So I just want to give a shout out to the teachers and commend them for the hard work that they do every day underneath a lot of pressure. Even if you are a great and outstanding teacher and have your curriculum mastered, you still have your supervisors that, I'm not going to say hinder you because this is their job to give you, that you must do because it's just a chain of command of what goes down. But it doesn't necessarily help your classroom. And it takes time away of what your class actually needs to do some of the things that are unnecessary that can get you written up, docked and paid, or possibly fired. So to be able to juggle just that alone, I want to commend the teachers first and foremost for that. And then I want to commend the teachers for, man, the people that complain about their one kid. I got 140 of y'all. What? So even when you come up and talk and say everything on your mind and say your piece, I got 139 more that I have to deal with every day and potentially see somebody just like you. So I want to commend them for that. Secondly is this. I want to say to the parents that your kid is exceptional. And I don't care if they made all F's before. Your kid is exceptional. He's great. He's outstanding. He's a sponge. He can learn. He can learn given challenge, positive reinforcement, and given the proper tools, he's going to shine. So for me, biology is one of my best subjects. Had the highest passing rate in the district for 7 years at an alternative school. Went to Dallas last year and was #1 in the district in Dallas ISD. But my teaching was the same. I held them accountable. You got 2 options in my classroom. You're going to make a 0 or a 50. What you mean? I can't do a 78? No, I don't accept that. You're going to make a 95, a 99, or 100. And I gave them that accountability, and I believed in them. And I talked to them. And all of them produced. From the worst of the worst to the best of the best. All different races, all different nationalities. One of my greatest feats was last year, my first period class. I had 9 students in there. They all were Hispanic. They all had just got to America, and they couldn't even speak English, but they still passed the STAR test. Wow. I instilled the same values and my expectations of what I wanted them to do and wanted to for them to accomplish. So I want to say, parents, your kids are outstanding, and just give them support and tell them they can do it. Give them encouragement. Then on the flip side, now like with you, even I've been knowing Eric a long time. Coach Dave, you together. Been knowing him even before that. There's a community aspect of people in the community that you are like, you don't understand. If you have 2 kids, 3 kids that you help out and you mentor, that's going to help out at least 50 to 75 more. That reach is going to be out there. Y'all all have access to Facebook. If you're a plumber and you want to help kids, all you have to do is post, bro. I will help 10 kids learn how to be a plumber. And out of your 2,000 friends, you're going to have at least 5 to 10 kids that you're going to be able to come and mentor. So that transition is going to come from those kids who you're helping, their friends, because they're going to see a change and they're going to see them doing that. That's going to help them. Also, the people around in the community, their family, their friends. It's just a trickle effect. Oh, you doing plumbing? Congratulations. Here's a 10-piece. Keep going, boy. Keep going, girl. Keep shining. And so the community has to step up, and just things that you love and you are good at, put it out there on Facebook and help the kids. That's just the number one thing. We have a lot of lazy people who are outstanding in their craft. We have master electricians who are outstanding in their craft. You know how many kids want to be a welder? When they come, y'all teachers, man, I want to be a welder. I want to work for the plant. Man, you know how many people work for the plant? I see y'all little uniforms all over the city, every nice restaurant. Y'all boys suited up. Y'all little overalls in there doing good. Good, making great money. Man, post. Teach somebody how to be a process operator. That's what they want to do. The majority of our black boys, they want to be a process operator or a welder. Because it ain't no corporate jobs here in Beaumont. So in Beaumont, once you do graduate and go to college and you want to stay here, your opportunities for making money is work for the plant, work for the prison, or BISD. Outside of that, you don't have a place where you can go and get a salary job for, let's just say 60 and above. So at least teach your kids a trade. And so, like I said, been working with E a long time. I'm happy for him. I was just talking with him. Just met him right before we start filming. And I wanted to give him his flowers because what he's doing in the boxing and how many kids he's helping. You see, when I did AAU for almost 13 years and, got over 200 kids full scholarships in a program that I'm a part of called Pathway to College. Nobody never says good job. Nobody say nothing. I haven't charged a kid one time in Beaumont to train them. And I've got multiple kids Division I scholarships in a lot of different sports. And that's what I told him. I said, man, I want to give you your flowers because you're coming out of your own pocket. You help the kids, you change their lives, they still come back to you. And like I told Mrs. Segee earlier, Mrs. Segee used to come pick me up when I was a little boy and take me to the cell, and I played on this basketball team. But that's people in the community that, you see, people like us, and it's not a pat on the back.
You deserve a pat on
No. What I'm saying is that people like us that work, you always working.
Yeah.
How many years everybody on this panel been caring about kids and been working with them? How many years has this been going down? And it's going to continue. What I'm saying is the people out there, once you try it, and that first kid, they give you that smile and that thank you. And then not only that, after that kid grow up and have a family, and whenever he see you in HEB or something like, hey, Mr. Look, my son.
Yeah.
It's an adrenaline and a joy that, hey, man, it can't be matched. So I'll just leave it with that. And, man, thank you again for having me, bro. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you for coming on. And this segues back to the career technical side of it. Like you said, here in Beaumont, in this area, refineries are big. Skilled labor. That's what we have here. The ports. That's what we have here. Do you think it would be beneficial to our community that we expose our kids to that kind of training at an early age? Do you think it would affect? Do you think it would affect their behavior? Do you think it would affect their academics? Because they're focused on, I know I can provide for myself and my family. We don't have to struggle like what we're struggling. The harsh reality is our kids are low-income kids. The majority of the kids that go to our campuses are low-income kids. They come from low-income situations. And like I said, it's easy to point fingers. It's easy to pass by. But we're here for solutions. And the solution starts with each and every one of us. We all bring something to the table. Stemming from this conversation, just think about what you got that you can provide. It's simple. It could be one kid. It could be one kid in your neighborhood that you know that's struggling or their parents may not have, and that you can just spend a little time with, talk to, listen to them, provide a little time for them. That's it. That's what we're here for. Attendance, we spoke on behaviors. Now we're going to talk about the impact. Why is it important? How is it affecting, like he said, Mr. Segui said, the bottom line? Yes, this is how we fund it. But what are they tracking? Why are they tracking it? How is it impacting us? And when I say how is it impacting us, every student in our school district that's tracking the standardized tests, in Texas it's the STAR test, they're tracking their behavior. How many times have they been suspended? They're tracking their attendance. How often do they miss school? They're tracking how they're performing in math, how they're performing in reading. How many math and reading classes have they been? Now, once they accumulate this data, they don't know your kid individually. They don't know them as a person. All they know is this data, what the data say. How many times they've been in trouble. And then they use this data and they have a graduation report on each kid. And the graduation report says it ranks the kid from a very high chance of not graduating high school, a high chance of graduating high school, a medium chance to a low chance of graduating high school. You want your kid to be on that low chance. That means that they're checking all the boxes. They're doing everything they're supposed to do. The reason I'm telling you this is because it's simple fixes. Attendance and behavior are simple fixes. The curriculum and the academic side of it, that's the easy part. We have tutoring. We have a lot of resources for the standardized test. We're going to have put all of that, the links to that in my bio. It's so many resources for the academic side. At the core, though, we need to be able to fix the behavior and the attendance. Because we get that fixed, we work on that as a community, we can fix the other things. That's the impact. That's how this works. Now, we have Coach Mo here. Coach Prentice talked about him a little bit, but what he's doing is working with these kids that's having these anger issues, that's fighting in school, getting bullied in school, and teaching them discipline, how to manage that anger, how to avoid these confrontations. Because the harsh reality of it is now, when we were younger, it was resolved with fights in the streets. But now these kids are getting murdered. We have a high murder rate here in our city. More than we ever seen. What's the solution to that? We need people like Coach Mo. How do we get more kids in programs like Coach Mo's? Coach Mo, tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Well, I first want to thank God for letting me be up here with all these educated people. Because, well, how I was living and where God brought me from to where I am right now, it's a blessing to be up here with y'all. And I thank Eric for having me here. And I appreciate everybody that came. I'm a co-owner at 490 Elite Boxing Club. It's me and one of my long-term friends, Kendra Hill. And it's a lot of other brothers and sisters that also help us, because I'm telling you, like, since it's going on the 5th year, we've been registered under USA Boxing as a club. So that's amateur boxing. Kids can start amateur boxing when they're 8 years old, and they record their career up until they go pro or whatever they do. Well, a lot of people bring me their kids not with the intentions for them to ever do an amateur career or go pro. It's all different reasons they bring. It seemed like when we first started, it was more bullies coming. It was a lot of people bringing me kids saying, hey, this little kid from this neighborhood, he love to fight. All he do is fight. He can fight real good. I think y'all need to bring him to competition. Within that, there was a lot of they started small gangs in the neighborhood, which I know of a lot of the gangs. There's got a group in South Park. They got the different little groups in the North End, and it just so happens to be my peers' children. And I know them, like, since we've been there, I want to say, I know 4 of them for sure that was with us right now is locked up on murder charge. That's fighting a murder charge right now being in Jefferson County with a murder charge. I remember one particular instance. One of the little dudes had been at the gym for a while, and we was getting ready to leave. And it's deeper than this because I had a close relationship with this kid. And we was getting ready to leave the gym, and one of the coaches was cleaning up, and he picked up the jacket, and he was like, "The jacket heavy." It was a little jacket. The little dude, he was pretty young. And he said, "Man, they got a gun up in this jacket." So I brought the jacket. I said, "Who this jacket for?" And he said, "Oh, coach, that's my jacket." I said, "What you doing with this gun up in there?" I called him by his name. I know him. I know his parents. He said, "Oh, I got the man, that's such and such gun." He gave another little dude. So I didn't know how to get directly in touch with that kid mother. So I called somebody that I knew her, and I say, "Well, I got a gun up here with one of these little dudes, and he only 14, and he got a gun with the extendo." Like I say, and I don't know if I should call the police or just if he's saying this is your son's gun. Do you want to come get the gun back? And she was like, "Yeah, I'll come get the gun." And so she ended up getting the gun. Well, that same little dude is right now he incarcerated. He got incarcerated for a murder case at 17. And he had been in and out, coming and out, trying to get him to stay, just try to stay in it because at first he liked it to fight. And like they say, they not doing a lot of fighting no more. What they doing now is they'll meet up to fight. When the fight break out, somebody end up getting shot. And so this been going on for a minute. I even had a studio. I put a studio up at the gym, and Chino Grind, they helped me with a lot of the add-ons and stuff, and then I let them start making music. But what they was doing, they was dissing each other in there, and they was recording each other. So when I seen what they was doing, they kept on just, they was very recording each other, and they started saying, "Oh, we'll come up there and we'll shoot it." And I said, "Oh no." So I shut the studio down. I said, "Nah, we ain't gonna have none of that. Y'all don't know how to make." But to make a long story short, we get kids that's bullying. We get kids that's getting bullied. Lately, it's been a lot of kids that's getting bullied. Some of the videos that some of the parents sent me, it will make y'all proud, y'all, see some of the stuff that these kids do to each other. And I got one particular video I was telling Mr. Brooks and them about earlier, where they had one kid, they grabbed him, and they was all in the bathroom. They dumped his head in the garbage. He was screaming and hollering, and they kind of violated him. They violated him not just by sticking his head in the garbage, but with some other stuff. So his dad called me like almost in tears. He said, "Man, I want y'all to train my son. He getting bullied, and this just gotta stop. I'm sick of it. I don't want to hurt nobody child." And so I get a lot of it. Me and Kendra, we try our best to try to keep the ones that we know for sure. There's like a lot of them single parent mothers. They work so much. These dudes raising themselves, and the main influence that raised them is the telephones. The only thing they looking at on these telephones is these guys that's rapping, and they talking about how they killing people and how they robbing people. And these dudes not really doing it. They know people that's doing it, and they've been around people that's doing it, but what they doing is they just spreading it, they just pushing that out to them kids, and them kids taking it and they running with it because they don't have nothing else to do. The biggest influence on another child is a child, is their peers. You know, and it started at home with the parents because it's like she said, if you're not saying nothing positive, you got a lot of people that just talk so bad to their children. I've never seen so many ladies that talk to their daughters so bad with them words, with them type of words, and then these girls believe that and they think this is how you're supposed to talk to people, this is how you're supposed to talk to each other. And so since we've been doing this boxing and we've been traveling and just we've been seeing, I've been showing like coaches to me is some of the closest things some of these dudes and girls that ever have to a dad or a mama. Because if you're a single, I got one, my brother-in-law, he a single parent father, and he got 7 girls, 1 boy. most situations it's single parent mothers, and like he could only teach his girls so much as a father. You know what I'm saying? And so when they come out, when we at the gym, we just I try to be a father figure as much as I can. I had a lot of bad habits and old ways, just things I used to do. I tried to change about myself. You know, we had a problem. We grew up saying the N word all the time, like just throwing it around. I had to catch myself around them kids when I started doing the safe sport classes for USA Boxing. They teach you so much that you don't know about yourself that take a toll on them children, like hazing. A lot of people don't know what hazing is, especially coaches. Coaches got hazing bad. I was a coach. I did it to my own son. And I was like, and I didn't know about hazing until I started taking these classes. So you got to be mindful what you say to them kids, and you got to approach them. And what he said, that's the main thing. They don't care what kind of attention they get. They just want some attention.
You just mentioned your son. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened to your son?
Well, that was one of the situations I was talking about. My son, he 13, 14, he had been staying, going back and forth from my house to his mom's house. Well, his older brother, he incarcerated for murder. He was getting into a lot of stuff with them groups I was talking about. One group getting into it with the other group. Now, these boys is 12, 13, 14, 15. The oldest ones being 17, 18. Well, my son left my house and went stayed at his grandmother's house. 13 years old, in the bed, sleep. They shot the house up, 40, 50 bullets in the house, and he got shot. He got hit. And so it's just what most of these little dudes, they don't understand. Like, everything that they doing in the streets is carrying on to their grandparents' house. Where you live, you don't have no house. So they coming to your mama house, they coming to your grandmother house, and that's one of the circumstances my child got caught in at his grandmother house, which is his mom's mom. And so it's 3 other dudes that was there. They fight good. A couple of them went to competition. I try to keep them. They like, Coach Boy, I really like fighting. This and that. But they ended up, they back and forth, in and out the gym, till finally I ended up seeing them on the news. Their parents call me, and I get the parents calling me all the time. They thanking me and Coach K and the other coaches, man, we love what y'all doing with them. Y'all been keeping them out of trouble, but like, at school, you can only do so much.
Now.
It take a village.
It take a village. That's positive. Go ahead. I want to say one more thing bring a positive thing about the gym. Can you tell us what just happened with one of your kids that came up through your gym?
Well, it wasn't just one. We brought 3 kids to Junior Olympics. We brought 3, and it was supposed to be more than that. We brought 3 to Junior Olympics this year. One of them won gold, and the other one.
Then we got a clap.
One in the nation, and then we got one that ranked number 10 in the nation. We got about 4 kids that rank right now, and the competitions like get them experience. Cause we stayed in Vegas for 8 days and get them experience to meet kids from. When it's a national tournament, that means all 50 states are competing. So they had like over 1,700 kids competing this year, and they get a chance to meet different kids. We got a gym we go to in Louisiana. They got a little boy. He was. They say he was one of the most terrible dudes in their city in Lafayette, Louisiana. They didn't help this little boy change his life because he was already 12 years old with 2 home invasions, 2 attempted murders, and now he's fighting and he's one of the best in the nation also. So I like boxing because it helps them put that rage into something. I'm telling you, they come and they be so broken and torn, and then it's so many of them clean to Coach K here, it's so many of them clean to me. And we got other coaches that it's your character and it's the individual child. But every child because I coached baseball for a long time for the North. I coached the Astros for 4 years too. And I got regular kids. Boxing, you get irregular kids with boxing. I just so happen to love boxing. Coach Kendra here, he love boxing, and so we passionate about it. We been a private business for 4 years. We just got our 501c and became a non-profit. So we haven't had a chance to do nothing with the non-profit yet because of that. We still learning about it. But I thank God for the kids that we do have right now. We had practice. I came here, I missed practice, but we got about 30 kids right now. And they all different races and different ages. And I just feel like it helped a lot. I know a few of them that it really saved from the streets, and they tell me all the time, I'm glad I'm here. One of them just left. He was one of my main kids I was mentoring. His name's Kyron Jackson. He just left and went to the Army 2 weeks after school. And his mama always called me, and she always give us good, because at one point in time they was in Baytown, and she was telling me they was just starting to get into all type of stuff. They was starting to break up in houses and stuff like this. So when he came to us, he just one of the most respectful kids. I love him to death. And yeah, I just feel like when you gotta everybody gotta play their part. I noticed that the parents now, when the kids come home and say this, they want to go argue with the teachers instead of take the teacher's side. It's different. It ain't the same. You can't. The parents used to go there and they'll whoop you in front of. My mama used to come there. I'm a city class. I don't care what's going on. She taking the teacher's side.
It don't matter.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
If the teacher could have been dead wrong in my eyes, she taking a 9. They want to argue with the teacher. They talk about I snatch her. I do this to the teacher, and you know your kid got a history of constant trouble. So it started at home, like everybody saying. Then we gotta work together. I try to, when I see them and they be trying to be so disrespectful, but I kill them with kindness. And it works. It works. I didn't have them say, man, I don't want to hear all that pop, man, I don't care about nothing. And I be like, it's all right, you know what I'm saying? And they come back to me and they be so tough, and they come, and that little tough joker come back and, man, coach, I apologize, coach. And I didn't never, they say, I never seen that side of him. But it be like this, so.
Right, man. Yeah, go ahead.
Coach Moore, I just want to make sure all your students are registered. Can we have a registration thing at the end?
I think that's been a good idea.
Now they all registered.
We want to make sure they all registered with BISD. Can we hold a registration thing at the end?
Yeah, y'all can hold a registration thing.
Let's see what I'm talking about working together.
Hey, Coach, you know, all Olympic boxers go through the Army boxing before they get selected for Olympics.
Oh,
That
yeah.
boy can box. He can box for the Army team.
He say he going.
They gonna come through it.
Yeah.
They gotta come through the military for 2028.
Yeah, he say he gonna box for the Army team.
He make the team. All Olympic boxers go through the military boxing before they get selected for Olympics.
Okay. See, we learning something new every day. That's what it's all about, man. And segue into my next guest, Mr. Raymond Lewis, the Man of the Better Life podcast, the Man of the Better Life movement. He's also an author. Like I said, he constantly come and consistently mentor my kids. He has great books like The Enemy Within, Faith Over Fear. I want him to tell us a little bit about that because he actually started off writing children's books based off his own personal journey, his own personal life, man. And my kids, man, when he come and read to them, him and his wife, Miss Stacey Lewis, when they come read to him, they bought in immediately. They started asking him for books because it resonated with their life and they was able to connect. And he consistently showed up, man, and they look forward to him coming.
And the nephew.
So would you tell them a little bit about what you got going on and what you be doing?
First, I want to say congratulations on this year.
Yeah.
This is a major bridge.
Yeah.
This is a major bridge. Because like he said, a lot of those parents, they don't want to hold themselves accountable. A lot of them breaking those kids down before they get to school. A lot of them dealing with emotional intelligence that has not been raised to the awareness of. Like we was talking when you came spoke on the podcast. We was talking about the emotional intelligence and implementing it in school. Because when them kids are acting out, you got to think about it. They acting out for a reason. And with emotional intelligence, it's raising your self-awareness.
So therefore, the emotional intelligence, either you reacting or you responding. And a lot of these kids, when they acting out, they're reacting to something before they even got there. So I had the privilege, me and my wife were starting the Demand a Better Life Alliance. Bridging the same gap and bringing these resources to the community and the families that never knew the resources was there.
Right.
For this, one of our business partners, and I want to talk about the Pistol Family Foundation. We talking about what just happened with some of your kids at the gym. They pushing education versus incarceration. Because it's going to be one or the other.
That's it.
But how many people you think right here in Beaumont never heard of it? And with the Pistol Family Foundation, education versus incarceration, they're providing the resources so these kids that have, if people took out a little time just to teach these kids about a trade, distilling that demanding a better life starts with them. You can't demand a better life. You can't ask somebody else to demand a better life when you're not demanding a better life for yourself. And I was one of those troubled teens, acting out. And when I analyzed what age I was when I started acting out, I was 12 years old. 12 years old and lost his mom at 12. So I started acting out. I started doing like some of the kids that he was talking about. Getting involved with gang activity. Getting involved with drugs. I'm a kid. I didn't understand what I was getting into. But if I had a mentor, if I had somebody like these people on this panel to help me to channel that energy, I could have defeated the enemy within. Because that's the number one thing that we got to think about. Your number one enemy is within you. But the first thing people want to say, oh, it's that person's fault.
Exactly.
If you eliminate the enemy that's within you, there's no enemy on the outside that can get to you. Because who is closer to you than you? So I had to spend a lot of trials and tribulations. I've been knowing Brother Eric for 30 plus years. We went to middle school together. And we both kind of veered off and made some bad choices. But those choices we made at an early age was preparing us for right now. So you got to think about that. Everything happened for a reason. Just because you started there, don't have to mean you finished there.
That's the part right there.
And that's why I love everything that me and my wife are doing. My wife has been in banking for 39 years, financial education. She has a master's in banking. We teaching financial education to these kids, but in 41 countries, we're helping people learn more about their finances and how to secure their money. Now you talk to somebody that came up from the folks community where a lot of stuff happens with a lot of these kids coming from the north side of Beaumont.
Yeah.
So I respect you to a whole nother level, because what I see every day going to that success class, a lot of those kids are just like how we were. But look at how God will put you in a position to correct the mistakes that you made way in.
Yeah.
It's going to come to pass. And the stuff that you inspire these kids every day, we're seeing this. Before they start that class, what do you have your kids do?
I have a growth mindset motto. Because I preach, like you said, from the very first day of school, I set the tone in my classroom. I teach my kids the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is that mindset that I can.
Yes.
I can't do it. Growth mindset is I can. Even if I don't know how to do it, I can figure it out. I can get better. That's a growth mindset. And once you change that mindset from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, the only limitations you have is the limitations you put on yourself. Because now you, just like he said, you're fighting that enemy within yourself. There's nobody else to blame. It's accountability. And so I have my kids say this motto: it does not matter what challenges I have to face today. I'm going to keep a growth mindset and stay focused on my growth. Because the only thing that's stopping me from growing is me. We do that every single morning, every single day before we start anything. Because that's the reset when they come through the door in my classroom. Because now they know they're accepting accountability for their growth. It don't matter what the students next to them doing. And before I send them to their next class, I make sure I check them to see if their mind is there. We do it again before they leave. Take that with you. You accepting accountability for you. I don't call parents often. If I have to call a kid's parent, it must be extreme. Because I'm constantly telling my kids that you are the one that's responsible for your choices. It doesn't matter. Yes, your parents love you. And they care about what happens to you. But the choices you making, they're going to affect your life. Not mine, not your parents. So when we teach that to them at an early age, they embrace it and they become better people. Because that's what raises test scores. That's what raises behavior. That's what raises attendance. That's what raises data. Because now they're accountable for their actions. You got to teach them. I mean, the curriculum, that's the easy part. Anybody can learn something that you teach them. But they need to know why they need to learn it.
Right.
It has to mean something to them. And that's where we come in. We have to be accountable for our roles in it. And we have to be willing to fill in the gaps. The harsh reality is a lot of kids that need us. It's a lot of gaps. It's a lot of adults that need us.
Yes.
We got to fill in the gaps. Resources. We have, like she said, Buckners. I'm on the board. I'm on the board for the Fatherhood Summit. We put it on every year. The Fatherhood Effect Summit. We have different resources. The Salvation Army. We have different resources here. We have, they come to the school. I'm sorry. You know, my point is we have a lot of mental health resources. We have the resources here. And everybody's doing great things separately. My goal with Live from the Teacher's Lounge is to bring those resources together. If you putting on the event for Demand a Better Life, and then you putting on the event for Roar, or I'm putting on the event with Buckners, and we only getting a handful of people for each event. Why? When if we pulled our resources, and if we say we helping the youth and the youth's families, all the youth in this community go to the schools. So why are we not partnering up together and making this happen? Certain things we got to make mandatory.
Right.
If the kids are struggling on the standardized test, we need to make it mandatory that somebody in that household is going through a boot camp, like we're putting these kids through a boot camp, to understand the resources, how to access the resources, how to use the resources, so that kids can know. It's available to them at home. We have the public libraries for the people who don't have it. It's available. The computers are there for them to use. They don't know how to activate. That's accountability. How? We need solutions. Stop pointing fingers. We need solutions. That's what this podcast is about.
And I agree. We tried to make it so simple with BISD. The website can give you any and all information that, and just talking with Ms. Wyman, everybody don't have a computer. But as you mentioned, the library has computers for parents who don't have computers. But you can enroll a kid on your phone. I mean, you can do all this crazy stuff on your cell phone. So it's really no excuse. But BISD has been over backwards, to make these things accessible to people. You can find anything you want if you want to. But we do need to collaborate more as individual groups in order to feed and activate our community to get them well-rounded.
Exactly.
I mean, we are doing great things.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, no, not to take nothing from no group, because even like Mr. Thrift, working with 100 Black Men. When I was over at Smith, we did that. They used to come visit all the time, man. I've done a lot of great work with 100 Black Men. That's a great organization. We have a lot of great organizations here with the sororities, the
line skippers.
I mean, we have so many. I mean, because I want to make sure everybody get their flowers. Everybody doing great things separately. We just got to do it more together. And because if you putting on your event and we only getting a handful of kids and a handful of people available, like, oh man, I went to the Straight Talk for young men. Man, that was amazing, an amazing event. But we only had a handful of people there. We only had a handful of young men. That's something that needs to be, every kid on every campus needs to experience that.
That's what I normally tell the parents when I'm going to their houses as well. Just don't come to the school when your child is in trouble.
Right.
We want to hear from you all the time. They know you by your cars when you pull up, because my child has done something well. Not just because my child has done something bad, or because we want to see you at the school. We want to hear from you. We want to pat you on the back as a parent. We don't always want to say, well, listen, that little Johnny over here. I mean, we just can't get it right with him. We want to say, little Johnny has made a difference, and the difference starts from home.
Right.
And thank you for doing what you're doing with our kids. So yeah, we just need parents. We need parents to get involved and stay involved. Just like you go to the football game, just like you support basketball game, just how you went to the computer and talk about the schools or whatever. We want some pats on the back as well. But we want you to show up for PTA. We want you to show up at the board meetings. We want to hear what you got to say at the board meetings. Truancy is not all about, hey, listen here, you're going to court, y'all going to jail. It's not all about that. We want to see what we can do to help you, because a lot of times when I go to homes for truancy, it's because somebody don't know how to get on the computer and check their child's grades. It's because somebody don't know who their child's teacher is. It's because they don't have a schedule. All that is on the parent self-serve. All you have to do is register. Register. You can ask questions. My mom always told me the dumbest question is the one that goes unasked. Ask the question.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully what you're doing right now will be the start of some healing with not just this, with our city.
Our whole city.
There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in Beaumont that should not be.
Right.
And hopefully today will start a process to where people are getting involved. But I want to hear what this young man got to say.
Yeah. Okay. Like I said, another thing, another one of those categories that the kids are being tracked on is math and reading. Now, me and Mr. Brooks, we both Mr. Brooks. Ironically, I teach English language arts. He teach math. Now, honestly, I love reading. I love writing. I've always did since a child. So it's always been important to me. And I always loved music. And I felt like, for me, that was a way that I could share my passion with the kids. That's a way for me to connect with the kids. And I found that if you can find a mutual interest, everybody deep down have a passion for literature. You just have to find a way to help that individual person bring it out. So for me, I found my way to tap into that connection with each and every individual student. For me, and every school I've been at that I've taught English language arts, I have seen growth. I want to give a shout out to my 6th grade team at my campus. I'm not gonna say what campus it is, but if y'all know me, y'all know what campus it is. On the STAR test this year, we was all greens. That means that we grew in every section. only grade though. English language arts, my grade, 6th grade, we grew in every level, so I'm proud of that. So I just want to say it's possible. All you have to do is be consistent
Yes, sir.
with your students, find common ground, find interest, and keep on writing. Keep on writing. Keep on reading. And it doesn't have to be like Mr. Prince was saying. Yes, we have guidelines that we have to follow, but you have to find your own way. It's at the end of the day, it's still your classroom.
Yeah.
You can teach. Just make sure it's effective. If it's effective, I guarantee you, if you're getting results, ain't nobody gonna be on your back if you get results. Now, I'm gonna let my young brother, Mr. Brooks, speak about the math side, because I'm not too good at math.
All right, so just to begin with, like he said, I work alongside with Mr. Brooks. I got to know him very well over the course of this year. He's only been there for 1 year, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, we're pretty much like brothers now. You know what I'm saying? So to begin with, I've been teaching math for about 4 years, since about 2021. That's right after the COVID phase of life, right? I started off at a school in Beaumont, Texas, as a permanent sub, and I'm not gonna lie, like it really brought chills, and it almost kind of brought tears to my eyes to kind of see how us as minority, because it's not just black people, it's also Asians and Mexicans that attend majority of the schools in Beaumont, Texas, right? How far we fell out from our purpose in life, right? Because purpose has to come from alignment within just knowing how to kind of have tunnel vision onto a goal and a focus that everybody want to accomplish in life, right? So amongst like the first week of me teaching, this is a 7th grade class. I'm asking students, I just want to see what you know first. Once I kind of get a scope of what they know, now I can build on it. Now I can know where to start without wasting time. So I'm asking questions like, what's 3 times 3? What's 4 times 4? Y'all will not believe when I tell you, I promise, I'm not exaggerating, almost about 80 to 85% of our students that's in 7th grade, these are 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, they cannot recall basic math. I've seen 8th graders, you ask them what's 5 plus 5 and they're using their fingers.
Yeah.
I'm not lying to you. Like, a lot of it comes from the lack of comprehension with reading, because with 7th grade math, it all depends on comprehension. It's based off of a lot of reading questions and being able to recall certain strategies and things that's been taught from elementary. Like, you have to recall those things. So in my classroom, I kind of do personalized lessons, so I kind of started off with that, right? But something I really wanted to touch on tonight is just like, it's so different from generation to generation. Everybody up here is pretty much an older generation from myself, so I kind of have a different perspective of how I perceive education nowadays from them. But what I'm noticing is like, the tools aren't there no more. We gotta put the tools in place as people from what we know is missing. The government don't know us like that. You know what I'm saying? The people that's making these decisions up in these high places, they haven't been teachers. They never taught before. They didn't come from schools that have low funding with old books. And they not coming from where we coming from. So the fact of the matter is this right here. He was gonna speak on standardized testing, right? Which is STAR. It blew my mind. I took tax. I was the last class I graduated. I took tax. I graduated the last class to take tax ever in the state of Texas. We had to make a 70 or above, just like a regular class. You have to make a 70 or above. Nowadays, it's gonna blow your minds, parents. I promise you this. A lot of parents don't really know what STAR is, because when we have these events to get man, look. When we have these events at the schoolhouse, that's reviewing STAR with science, math, history. We don't get no type of engagement from the community. It's the same parents every time. It's like 10, 15 people. So imagine what that's doing to the mentality of that child. So all year, I don't gotta worry about STAR. I just gotta get 14 right. So now guess what? Now we're knowing the expectation for that child, but when they release it to society still demand that you gotta show up. You gotta show up. All right, so now let's go back into referrals, right? I'm a teacher. I got my first referral in hand as far as on the other side to be able to fill it out for myself, for the student. And guess what's not on the referral no more? Profanity.
Oh yeah.
What? Man, bro, this blew my mind, bro. Profanity is not on that box no more because guess what? It's all about numbers nowadays. The government or the people that's putting these things into place, they don't care about what's going on in the school. They care about public relations. What do people see? When they go online, they look up these schools, what are they able to find? So now I got kids coming to my classroom cursing every day, and it gets to the point where all you can do is say, stop cursing. You can send them to the office, they come right back. Man, it's a limit on the amount of kids we put in pathways. So he cursed you out, but we can't do nothing. So we're gonna wait on this one kid to smoke a vape or smoke some weed, then we're gonna fill that spot with what he doing. So we're gonna look over everything else. So now it's teaching our young kids that slap on the wrist. But guess what? They go to the mall every weekend and they fighting and they catching charges. They go to school, and they fighting, and they get sent back to class. So it's a disconnect for these kids nowadays, right? It's a huge disconnect from behavior as far as consequences, from behavior to academics. From behavior to academics. And all of that tying to each other. So now that's why we sitting here on this panel as a collective, putting our minds together and trying to come up with some solutions.
Yeah, man, but we're gonna go ahead and get to the Q&A part of this. But before we do that, I want to go and say one last thing about the data, because he brought us some great points. But do you realize that they start tracking this data on the standardized test in the 3rd grade? In the 3rd grade. So what we got to do is start preparing these kids sooner, preparing these parents sooner, because I don't think they realize the impact on the individual student, the individual school. Y'all hear about this school is a F school, a B school, a C school, D school, or whatever letter grade your school is, but you don't understand why. Why is that? Why is the district not getting no funding? This is why. Because they start taking their standardized test in 3rd grade, and if your kid is not passing, underperforming on that, their attendance is bad, their behavior is bad, they're underperforming their grade level in math and reading, it's saying that it's a very high chance that your kid is not going to graduate high school already. Hold on, before I'm going to let you get to it. And the reason I'm bringing this up, because if it's a very high chance that your kid ain't going to graduate high school, and you the person that decided on funding, and we got what you think is the other side of a very high chance of not graduating high school. If it's, what you say? Prison. Education over incarceration. That's why it's more beneficial for them to invest in the prison system than it is the education system. And it's because of the simple data. And like I'm telling y'all, it's things that we can fix. Attendance, we can fix that. Behavior, we can fix that. Why come you talking about profanity? Yes, it's a bad thing in schools now. Kids talk, we would never think about cussing in front of no adults, no matter the toughest, roughest kids. But that was at our core because we had that at our core. So what's the disconnect? We're not teaching it as the core. That's the accountability. That's things that can be corrected. Now, I want to open up the floor for any questions, any statements. Anybody have any questions or statements that they want to
Let me
add?
say something. There's some changes coming to to the school system itself in relationship to this. The state of Texas just have some new House bills. There's some things coming down the pipe that's going to change the way we do discipline in the school system. By the time, well, they realize they made some mistakes, and it's long overdue.
So,
I'm not gonna get too specific about it, but it's coming.
does anybody in the audience have any questions or any statements that they want to add? This is the time we've been up here talking I want to hear from y'all.
Not all at once. Not all at once.
Okay,
Oh.
I get the adult side and the accountability side, but are we even talking to the kids to find out why it's so hard to get them to show up?
Why it's so hard to get the kids to show up?
Yeah, a lot of these kids don't want to show up. And there's a reason behind that. And it's like, okay, we fixed our side, but I also think there's another side we need to face. We need to hear from the other side.
Do you
What's
have,
the issue?
Do you have any kind of solutions?
I don't, because I think not all the answers are going to be the same per child. Like, I have a child that does well in school, but there's days she don't want to go either. And she's telling me that the computer's teaching her, class isn't really being taught. They're just logging onto a laptop. She do that at home.
So
Why do I need to show up just for the computer to teach me at school?
So basically what you're saying is like some of the things I was talking about. We need to find more things to like individualize the interest.
Right.
Okay. What is maybe we need to put out some surveys. Students, we need to put out some student surveys.
And they actually have them. So the students, I don't know if they complete them, but the district does have in place where we survey the students, survey the staff to get feedback, to see what their interests are, what the disconnect is, so that we can come up with some solutions. And I know, don't you all have like groups where you meet with the students? I know like the behavior interventionists, they bring the students together to try to figure out, where is this behavior coming from? With the attendance committees, when I was at BU working with attendance, we meet with those students. They meet with them individually to figure out what's going on so that they can explain. And sometimes, like Ms. Fondo said, it can be lack of transportation or nobody at home is making me go, is letting me know the importance of getting the education. It's not valued. Some of those, that mindset, some of those morals, is just being diluted. When we were growing up, we had that village mentality. If my neighbor know I'm supposed to be out the house at 7:30 to go to school, somebody getting a call or somebody coming to the door and making sure that you okay, what's going on? Why you haven't left yet to go to school? We don't have that. We don't have that rapport. You saying something about somebody else's child now, maybe a fight might come with it or whatever. So you don't have that. You don't have that village mentality to make sure that everybody's child is doing what they're supposed to do. But I mean, it is in place. Students have to provide that feedback, answer those questions, come to the people, the adults that are there to help them, and let them know if they need some assistance, if their parents need some assistance.
And one of other parents hear is that a lot in our house, what I hear is they know that there's a threshold of days you can miss before you get in trouble.
Yeah.
And they try to use that. They're like, well, I only missed 2 days, so I can miss another one because I'm still within the threshold. Like they're treating that threshold like.
And think about parents. Do you have days that you call in because okay, I have vacation days, I could call off from work. So it's kind of like students acting the way they're being trained. And if they have that, that's true. They have those 10 days, but you have to realize, okay, what are you going to miss right now? You might need to save that for a rainy day. You may have some days that you don't know what's coming up. So don't miss this day. And unfortunately, there is a teacher shortage. We don't have people that's stepping up to the plate to fill those vacancies. So students are on Ingenuity. They are maybe having to go to a class where they're receiving their instruction through an online platform. But you still have to show up because you can have a 100 in any class, but if you have too many absences, you don't get credit for that class. And I mean, I know you know that, but that's for, your daughter to tell the other student, tell their peers. Sometimes we may show up to work and your job, you may not have anything to do on that day, but you have to be there in order to get paid. So it's all training for what's going to come up when you become an adult.
And choice is not gonna. If not, like this past school year, we took people to court.
Yes.
We took people to court, and it's not gonna be following the student. It's gonna be following the parent.
Right.
So what are you doing as a parent? And what I hear from me going to the houses, like this past year, going to the houses to these students, is that some students sit in the classroom with a lot of kids and it's behavior problems. What our teacher can only do 1 or 2 things. We can teach and try to ignore that, and teach the ones that want to learn, or put those kids out of the class that's not going to ever catch on, or what have you. But that's why we're trying to get a hold of this behavior thing, because that's in the way of these kids that want to go and want to learn and want to come to school. And so that discouraged the other kids that, you know, on that fence, kind of like Dr. Streets was talking about. That's on that fence and trying to learn. You know, they don't want to come because there's so much stuff going, so many distractions. But like she said, it's a shortage all over the world. A shortage of teachers. They go into other fields. So that's what we need to hear. You got the education. You want to see what your kids doing. You want to be a teacher. You want to educate. Get in there. Get in the field. Get in the field and help us. Help us out.
Mr. Simeon said he had something he wanted to say.
I just wanted to respond to your comment as far as like, you know, with the kids going to school being on the computer all day and not having a teacher. And that hit home as far as one of my athletes. They're going into their senior year, they just took their SAT test. They did outstanding every other aspect except on the math portion. They went through Edgenuity, had no teacher. So that kid did not have the skills of what they needed in order to take the SAT and the ACT in order to get a high enough score on that, because they can just go through the motions as far as through the Edgenuity, click yes, and see, that's where good students get passed up, because the system is kind of set where, you know, the kids, and there's a teacher shortage, but as a district, it's something you got to do about it. You got to get more competitive in the salary. You got to ask for more money. There's so many refineries around here. The streets should be paved in gold. So as far as teacher salaries, it should be higher. Like, we have to fulfill the need. And, you know, yes, kids, they say it because it's true. If you hear the kids saying at home that, man, I don't do nothing on the computer, it's just teach me, it's true. They may have 3 classes where they're sitting down in the classroom and there's a non-certified teacher that is a permanent substitute that's sitting there monitoring them doing Algebra 2. Don't have no clue of what they're doing, can't go over there and help them at all in no way, shape, form, or fashion. The only thing they can do is unlock a test. So I like that's why you asked that, because that hit close to home. One of my athletes is trying to get a scholarship. That's something that you have to do. You have to score. The higher you score, the better school you can go to, or opportunity that you can have. So it's also it's a lot of stuff we're talking about what the parents can do and what they need to do better. There's a lot of changes over here in BISD that need to be changed as well. And this is the last thing that I'll close on. It's one of the most embarrassing and hurtful things was when we made Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live said the kids in Beaumont can't read. This is Saturday Night Live. This is not like, you know, just your little run-of-the-mill show. This is one of the longest running shows in the history of United States TV that's watched by millions and millions and millions every single Saturday. And they singled out this for being the worst reading district in the country. So there's some accountability. Yes, if you're the worst, that means there's problems on all sides, at home and at the school.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So how did you get the parents involved?
I have a question back here.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, you had a question.
Oh.
So, one thing that I know, like when it comes down to it, the learning doesn't start at school. It definitely starts at home. It's what we're teaching our children that they're carrying out. And like I did like how someone said, it's like everybody's living room conversation is different. What they've learned growing up, what they're told, how they learn off of survival or just off of like education, is different. But if it was encouraged, like for our family, we have like our core values, so to speak, the things that you have to stand by, live by.
Good idea.
And you know, if that's maybe something like that was introduced, where it's like the power is actually more in the parents' hand, because we're the first teachers anyway. Y'all supplement, you help, you go to school for it, but they can't learn anything more influential than that of the person that's endearment to them, that's responsible for them, that's engaging with them on a higher level, you know, more intimate, so to speak. So it's like, I know for our household, we have the, you know, your character, your accountability, your word, and what is it? Your word, your character, your accountability. All these things you have to stand on. And it's like, whenever you go out in the day, no matter where you're at, whether you're at school, they're talking to your teachers, whether you're talking to your peers. But then, like you said, how do we get my baby, I'm sorry. How do we get the parents involved? Is by engaging them to understand that it's like the learning doesn't just start when your student steps into this door. It's like, what do you need for us to help you to get the resources? How are you going to make these resources that they're attracted to you? Because it's not just for us. Like, it's not just for the teachers to do their job better, but also as a whole, we're working as a team, we're working as a village to make sure that our children get what they need to get while y'all are doing what y'all are doing. You know, learning doesn't just start after summer ends. So it's like, I know for us, there was a program when I was out here a long time ago called High Time. I don't know if it's something that we can bring back, but it was one of those things where it also taught the youth job skills. It talked, I'm talking about from 13 years old and up. The 13, 14, 15 demographic is one of the most ignored demographics when it comes down to educating them and involving them. And those are actually our peers, our children that are taking on and becoming the new leaders going into the next zone. If we don't grab hold and focus on them even more so, we're losing a whole generation just by not identifying that that's a demographic that's involving and teaching those that are younger, as well as going into and learning from those that are higher, but also influencing them as well. So it's like, it's not all about like, it's just, there's so much on the topic that I can say, but I know one of the things my husband and I have been started doing is the environment when it comes down to the entertainment. Entertainment is everything for these kids. They learn differently. They can sit here and learn like the ABCs. They can learn math or things off of a song. You know what I mean? All these different dances. You say, this is 3 times 3. These kids will get into it and like be all on it. But you can't have, but it's like the teachers aren't there in the schoolroom. Like, y'all have a job to do that. We don't need y'all to be performers, but there should be a program outside of that that can also enhance what you're already doing. And it's like, that's one of the things that we just have to get the unity back in the community. And I believe that's what I'm hearing is happening all around here. I mean, it's a big village. All of us have children, not just the ones we raise, but it's about pulling people out to understand that it's not our responsibility to take what you were supposed to be doing out, but to lock arms with you so that you can do it better. So if there's a way that we can influence that, I think that would.
Well, she did ask that question. How do we get those parents involved? But I come to find out also some of the behavior that we run across with some of the kids, and some of the kids' behavior to say that is terrible. But you know the reason why they say that, and I had asked those kids why you act the way you act, and those kids have said, I do it for attention.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I find that I give them what they don't have, or what they're not receiving at home. And what I give them is love and attention. And when I give them love and attention, I find that they're able to communicate with me.
Yes, sir.
And see, they want to communicate with somebody. And they want to be able to communicate with their parents, but they want somebody they want to be able to talk to. They want to be open with. And that's what we all have to do. We have to give our time to help those kids get what they're not getting at home.
We don't need much from the parents. Just give me a little. Just give me.
In the bag back here. In the bag. I'm sorry.
I know y'all probably can't.
Go ahead.
Mr. Brooks, I want to thank you for creating this platform.
Thank you so
for
much.
just being an educator in the district and a mom. I feel like this is something that we need at every school. I know you mentioned about you having some type of platform for your first year success class where you have your speakers come in and speak with them. How can we get that, Mrs. Sagi? I don't know if you can answer this question, but on every campus, not just certain campuses, because every school needs that. Starting it in elementary school, they need that as well. And being a college and career readiness teacher in the district, I've tried numerous of times to get several people to come in, but we all know that it's a process. Volunteer, they have to go through that process to be able to enter into the school district. But how can we move that pace a little faster to where we can have a platform that you created here at every level, at every school district? I know before, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you answer the question. But even when my beautiful lady here just said earlier about bringing back those resources that we had, those after-school resources that we had, those after-school programs that we had before, to help build that bridge for some of our kids, you know, and also utilize that time to be able to support our families, our parents, to be able to come out and give that support as well. But how can we create these platforms at every school so that all kids can be able to thrive in that certain situation?
For the most part, every school should have a homeroom, some kind of homeroom or success class. And as far as the volunteering thing, just gotta reach out to the community. You gotta reach out to the community. And as far as for them registering and going through the volunteer process, yeah, we want everybody to do that. But to be honest with you, a lot of my speakers, they weren't all the way registered. But you can, as an educator, you get a visitor. They can come on visitor pass.
Right, okay.
They can come on visitor passes. So if you had that, the goal is to get them registered as a volunteer. But if they don't have, if they're not registered as a volunteer, they can come on a visitor pass. Yes, they still have to get their
Go through
badge
that process,
scanned.
yeah.
They still have to get their badge scanned and make sure that they can come into school.
Yeah.
They got to stop them from coming into school.
Right.
But
So, I never seen. I was in the. You mentioned High Tone, and I was part of High Tone, and I was in the Big Brothers program. I went to alternative, and I never seen so many tough little dudes have their level of respect like they got for y'all. Been there to speak. Y'all know them little dudes tough, and they got the level. They got so much respect for Mr. Brooks. They love this man. Like I'm telling you, I was impressed. Like I never seen nothing like that, even with the program. He know about the Big Brother program. And, yeah, they used to come mentor us. We had Nicky Washington, all the football players and stuff, and they used to come. But what he got going, they really do need that at every school.
They do.
I ain't seen nothing like it. Them little dudes, they look.
It's
I'll be honest with y'all. I mean, the difference.
That's what it's about.
The difference is like what Mr. Priest just said. I listen to him.
Yeah.
You gotta listen.
I listen to him. Everybody got different situations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had one kid, 15 years old, 6th grade. He moved down here from Louisiana. I talked with his mom. His mom said every friend he had died in Louisiana. His friend, his last friend that died got killed in front of him, shot in the head. His mama said everywhere he went, he brought guns with him. Was in shootouts everywhere he went. Now he lived down here. People in Louisiana told his mama, you got to get him out of Louisiana. He gonna be dead. So he come down here. He reading on like. He tested on like, he's 15 years old in 6th grade. He tested on the kindergarten reading level. Wow. Below kindergarten reading level. Because it was never a focus. Now, I started small groups with him. And I got to realize he's really intelligent. People just have been telling him for so long what he couldn't do, that he believed what he could do. All I did was listen to him, made sure that if he needed to release, I was there to listen to him and release. If he needed to be hugged, I was there to hug him. If he needed to be encouraged, I encouraged him. And when he took his STAR test, he didn't pass his STAR test, but he approached his reading level based off of where he started at, below kindergarten level. I mean, so my point is, the difference is us. If you're patient, you're going to see the results. If you form that bond on them, with them, they're going to do the work for you because they know that you care. I have another question, Miss Ada.
One big thing is parents, teachers, anyone, stop justifying bad behavior. Right? Bottom line, we give it an excuse why they can't do what they're doing. Just stop doing that. Why they can't go up the stairs? Why they can't, whatever it may be. If we stop justifying that and give them no excuse, and give them the expectation of what we expect, it changes things.
I had one kid. I'm glad you said I had one kid. His parent, she can't see. She's blind. Well, her son, along with a group of other kids, they jumped on the kid and beat him up pretty bad. Now, it was all on camera. Now, when we had to call, well, in my case, I had to work as an administrator. I kind of did dual duties at my school. I worked as a teacher and as an administrator at the time. So on this particular day, I teach this kid as his teacher, and I also teach him. I had to deal with his mom as an administrator. So when I called her to tell her about what happened, on this particular day, his casework was just happened to be there too. So his caseworker actually got to see the video when it happened. And his mom actually said that I was picking on her son for calling her because her son couldn't have done it. I mean, her son literally ran down the hall, started punching and kicking this kid in the face after other kids had already was beaten. And she justified her son's actions by saying that I'm picking on him. That, like you said, that stuff got to stop, because we have to have accountability for our kids' actions. Because at the end of the day, even though you think you know your kid at home,
I learned that earlier, never say what they kid.
because we see it every day. I mean, we see it every day. And somebody said something about vapes earlier. Somebody was talking about vapes earlier. Man, I'm sorry, y'all. It's vapes. Vapes is a bad problem at the schools, because even though your kid may not have access to it, or I guarantee you, somebody at that school is in an environment where it's accessible to them. And then your kid is being exposed to it through them because they just want to fit in. Like you said, that attention thing.
One thing they're addicted to.
Exactly.
It's not that that's what I want parents to know and understand. It's not that they're just doing it and trying it. They are addicted to it, and they need it, and they can't function without it. And they will leave out of class and go to the bathroom, and they will do everything possible to get a hit on that addiction.
They taking them from people that don't
Become their parents.
They're addicted to it.
Pay attention, man. Like I said, pay attention to your kids. And if we call y'all, if the teachers call y'all, they take. Trust me, we have a lot to deal with in the classroom. If the teacher is taking the time out to call you, they calling you for a reason. It's not to pick on your kid.
Don't block the number. Yeah, don't change the age.
Ooh, please don't block the school number.
When you register, don't put the number of McDonald's.
Yes, because
It could be an emergency. We really
yes,
need to get in
we
touch.
need
We need
you.
this.
We need
Working
you.
every
And it's not the best of parents. We're not, and this honestly, listen, because majority of us up here, we're parents too. We got students in the district too. We got kids in the district too. Me personally, I got one at every level. I got a student in elementary. I got one in middle schools. I got one in high schools. So I got one in every level. My point is, this is not to beat you up. This is because we need each other. So when you accusing us of saying we picking on your kid, trust me, our kid somewhere at somebody else's school, in somebody else's class. And we hoping that they doing what they supposed to do. Because we know what it takes. Like somebody said, we got 140 kids that we trying to maintain. This lesson that we trying to make sure your kid get, and every other kid in the class with him get, we got to teach it 7 more times. 7 more times to make sure each one of them kids get it. So, like I said, I want to give a shout out to all the teachers around the world. Before we get out of here, I want to give a shout out to all the teachers, all the educators around the world just for showing them. Because that's the hardest thing to do every day. We got a very tough job. Like I say, most of us are very underpaid, underappreciated. I wanted to make a platform for us so that, yes, we could vent our concerns, come up with some solutions, maybe network across the globe with each other, because maybe some things y'all doing somewhere else is working that we can maybe apply here. Maybe we doing some things here that y'all can use somewhere else, and that's just my goal with Live from the Teacher Line from Mr. Brooks. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to thank Dorothy's Bar and Grill for allowing us this opportunity. Atmosphere for us. I want to thank all my guest panelists for coming out, giving their time, giving their experience and their knowledge and their wisdom. I want to thank my guests in the audience for participating, giving us their feedback. I want to just thank everybody, man. And also, before we get out of here, I want to I want everybody to pray for the people in Kerr County. Let's give them a moment of silence, man, because what they're going through is horrible. And I know a lot of people here in our local city have been touched by that. We have people out there, we have family. So I want to say, just take a moment just to give them a time, a prayer, and hope everything work out for the best for those people down there. Okay, now, man. Now, thank y'all again for joining us. You can follow me on all platforms, live from the Teachers Lounge with Mr. Brooks, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Continue to like, share, subscribe, and share with y'all friends. Have a nice night.
Good job, bro. Great job.